Hello, yes, and welcome to a episode of MLS Ireland. Well, I'll be bringing to you my predictions for week 8, I think it is. So, last week was pretty bad, so stay tuned. Perfect, thank you very much for joining me. My name is Sean, and yes, this is my prediction show. And if you're new to this, hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me because I'm on 134 now at the moment. So thank you very much for all those who are subscribing. I'm just, as I said, I'm getting closer to that number of 1 million. I'll never get that. I'll never even see that number. So again, thank you very much for joining me. And if you don't even see me before and things, I have a Twitter account at MLS Watch. Links are in below, so give us a wee follow if you're new. So this is my prediction. Quite badly last week. I got Seattle winning. I knew they were going to win. I didn't think they were going to win 7-1, but they did. I didn't think Inter Miami will beat. I did think Atlanta will get a goal, so I'll take a half a point for that if you're taking notes. I didn't think LAFC would get kind of beat up badly against Real Salt Lake. Other games, Minnesota. I knew Minnesota would beat FC Dallas. So I'm not too shabby on all this. Not great, but you're here. Way hey. So this is going to be quite a long one, so I'm going to try and make it that wee bit shorter. Excuse me. The first one is Chicago Fire, who are bottom of the league, against Columbus Crew, who are top of the league. So this is going to be an interesting way of games. This game's going to be on tomorrow night on Saturday, so I'll get to watch it, and I'll get to watch Chicago Fire probably beat Columbus Crew. This is going to be one of those games where it's going to be ridiculous because the MLS season doesn't make sense no more, and so it doesn't make any sense no more. So my predictions are becoming more sporadic and thinking outside the boxes, thinking they could beat them easily, but they won't. You know what I mean? So saying that, Chicago Fire, who are bottom, and probably rightly so, are playing a very good Columbus Crew. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Columbus Crew. I do think Chicago Fire will probably shock them near the start, then Columbus Crew is just going to annihilate them. Next one is DC United against New York Red Bull again. I'm not going to look at past results because that didn't do me any favours at all. So saying that, DC United, who never didn't concede a goal, so congratulations to them. They never had a shot on target either in their last game, which was a pretty bleak game against New York City FC. Now they're coming up against New York Red Bulls, who are probably a better team in a way. Maybe New York Red Bulls, where are you? You're 17th in the league. That's pretty bleak, and you're below New York City FC. And you're coming up against the DC United team, who are 20th. You wouldn't even think about that when the two of these types are playing. You always think Red Bull are a better team, such and such. Hence why I went for a 1-0 win to New York Red Bulls. I think they are just that better of a team, even though you don't think about it. So now, New York City FC against Cincinnati. Cincinnati are not doing too bad. They're 23rd, which is quite low. They're taking on the New York City FC team, who are 14th, which isn't too bad for a team that at the start were pretty bad. Well, they weren't scoring goals and just kept losing that one goal and then picking the whole thing up. But I think they're a bit better now at the moment. They're a bit more organised. So against an FC Cincinnati, I think New York City probably be the better team in this one. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. I don't think I've ever predicted them to even score 2 before in my life this season. So you are improving. Well done. Orlando against Inter. So this is going to be another Florida derby. The last ones are constantly Orlando, so it's probably going to be no exception, even though that Inter Miami played better against Atlanta, but Atlanta are in a very bad place at the moment. So saying that, and Inter Miami are getting Higuain. So that's the brothers now are going to be in the whole league, so that's going to be fun when the two of them are coming up against each other. When Inter Miami could play DC United in the bottom half cup thing. Again, Orlando probably should win this game, so I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. I do think Inter Miami are finding their feet when they have actually better players playing for them, so a game could be a wee bit more dodgy for Orlando, but I think Orlando are a better team, even though that you wouldn't even think about that these days. They're 7th in the league, which isn't too bad, against Inter, who are 2nd from bottom. But they're not bottom. San Jose are bottom, but no, Chicago Fire are bottom. That's pretty bad. But San Jose is bad. But anyway, where is San Jose? Oh, they're 2nd, 3rd from bottom. Philadelphia are next against New England Revolution. New England are doing pretty well last week. They're not doing too bad. They're kind of in that kind of area. They're 5th in their Eastern Conference, which is somewhere in there, 12th in the full thing. That's a lot. That's a big league. 26 teams. That's a lot of teams. And coming up against the Philadelphia team, who are 4th, which is pretty impressive. They do look like a force at the moment. Again, this is 2020. Atlanta are poor. LAFC are poor. Whereas LAFC 15th. Crikey. 16th is Atlanta. But anyway, we're not even talking about those two. Again, Philadelphia are probably a better team in this, and I do think they're probably going to beat New England Revolution, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. Philadelphia are probably just the better team. I'm very surprised they're 4th in the whole thing, but that's the way it goes. FC Dallas against Houston Dynamo. FC Dallas are not great, 18th in the league. They're sold a good defender, coming up against the Houston Dynamo team, who are their owners now are selling things and crisis. Crikey, a lot of things are happening for them. They're coming up with Houston are a good team, but they drew last week, which was a very poor result for them, which I would have thought they would have done well against Colorado, but they drew 1-1. I think it was a bit of a mess up at the back too for Houston. So saying that, they're coming up against an FC Dallas team in FC Dallas's stadium. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I just think it's probably going to be a goal fest. Not a goal fest, but you know what I mean. These two teams are probably going to be cancelling each other out and they're going to score goals. So I'm going to go for a draw. 2-2 is my prediction, but this game could be anything, obviously. Next one is Nashville against Atlanta. This game Atlanta really needs to win, and this is a game that Nashville could afford to lose. They're not really fighting for much at the moment. I know there's new schedules out at the moment, and I didn't really get a good full read at them, because I'm prepared. So coming up against Atlanta, Nashville will probably have a better defense, and the way I've seen how Atlanta conceded against Inter Miami didn't fill me with hope that they have defenders or midfielders, in fact, or strikers. They don't look great at the moment, so I'm going to go for a draw. I think they have more than Nashville, but I think Nashville are a bit more confident coming into this, thinking they can win it, but I think Nashville should get a goal. Atlanta should get a goal, but it's going to be one of those weird games. The next one is Real Salt Lake against Colorado Rapids. This one's a weird one. Colorado are 19th, where Real Salt Lake are 11th, which you wouldn't even think. You wouldn't even think about that at the moment. Real Salt Lake are a very good team. Come up against a Colorado team who you don't think played. They played against Houston. I was just talking about it. And Real Salt Lake got hammered by Minnesota, as I kind of predicted. I predicted 2-0, but anyway, they're coming up. Real Salt Lake at home against Colorado. I do think Real Salt Lake are probably going to get this one back, and so I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. Just Real Salt Lake probably are that more experienced team, and I don't think Colorado has it in them. So I'm going to go for 2-1 on that one. Sporting Kansas City against Minnesota. Sporting Kansas City. I don't think did they play? Can't remember. Real Salt Lake. They beat LAFC. They drew. Real Salt Lake got beat by Minnesota, then hammered LAFC. The thing's upside down, and I should have known that. But anyway, I digress. So as I said, Real Salt Lake against Colorado, I'm going to go for 2-1, and then Sporting Kansas City against Minnesota, I'm going to go for a Minnesota draw, 2-all. Real Salt Lake are probably the bit better team, but I think the way Minnesota are playing, I think they are a bit more confident and should get the result on this one. Get a result. So the next one is Vancouver against Montreal. Again, I think it's just Canadian teams playing Canadian teams at the moment. I think that's the way it's going until this new schedule comes out, and then whatever happens. Montreal, the two teams don't look fantastic at the moment. Vancouver are down there in 21st, whereas Montreal are 13th, which isn't too bad for having a new manager and stuff. They do have a better midfielder than Wanyama, so this games could be a completely different one. So I'm going to go for Vancouver 2-1. I could be completely wrong in that one, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 win, just Vancouver. Then LAFC against Portland Timbers. Portland won. They beat Seattle on Monday. They're coming up, and then Seattle beat San Jose 7-1, which is completely mental. They're coming up against a LAFC team who are all over the shop. Got beat by Real Salt Lake, then they got beat by LAFC 3-0 and 3-0. And they're coming up against a Portland team who aren't a bad team. I want to say that. They do look like they could win this game. So I'm going to go for 2-all. I'll go for 2-all. I think LAFC should get a couple of goals in this to really fight back, but I think Portland are probably just in that mindset that they can win this game. So I'm going to go for a good game in this one. It could be 2-all. It could be 3-2 to either one of these two, but I think it is going to be a goal fest. There's going to be a lot of goals in this, and it's going to be pretty back forward. So I'm going to go for a 2-all draw. And obviously the last one is the Cal Clasico against San Jose against LA Galaxy. LA Galaxy, where are you? LA Galaxy are 8th, which is very intriguing, against San Jose, who are 3rd from bottom. I'm going to go for LA Galaxy 2-0 winning this one. I think they're just that better of a team, and I think San Jose, the way they defended against Seattle was completely criminal and deserve to be relegated. I know there's no relegations, but they deserve to be just fucking free out of the league. So that is my predictions. Hope you enjoyed them. They could be good, they could be mental. Let me know what you think of ones that I'm talking out of my arse. So let me know, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye now.